In today's lecture, we are going to learn about soul classification. Although the soul is one, but how can this be classified? So for this, we have today's lecture, which will be taken by our own very Somil Bhaiya. He'll teach us that how this soul is classified and in which classification do we belong, and what if we want to change our classification. So before I hand over mic to Somil Bhaiya, let me briefly introduce you to JEEV portal. JEEV portal is Jain English Educational Values, where we learn about Jainism concepts in English, in simple English, and understood to you, Bhaiya, to help us understand what is soul classification.
Jai Jendra, everyone. Let us begin with a small Mangla Charan. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savvasanam, Mangalam Bhagavan Viro, Mangalam Gautamo Gani, Mangalam Kunda Kundaryo, Jaina Dharmostu Mangalam. Jai Jinendra, dear seekers. As Parinati just mentioned, there is only one type of soul in 6 types of substances. Essentially, all souls are similar. But then, how do we classify them? What is the basic foundation for this classification? Let us spend a few minutes today to learn about different types of souls and where do we belong and eventually where do we want to reach. So today we will learn about Bahiratma, Antaratma and Parmatma. Let me make a full screen slide. We will talk about soul classification into 3 forms: deluded souls or Bahiratma, enlightened souls or Antaratma, and supreme souls or Paramatma. We will also talk about which type of soul we want to be, which is Upadeya, which type of soul we don't want to be, which is Hey, and which type of souls we will need to know, which is Gnei. All right, so let's jump into it. As we began with saying that all the souls in this universe, we are all similar. We all have consciousness. We all have ability to know, to perceive, and to feel happiness or sadness, whether it is soul from Nigod or from Siddhashila. However, while the substance as a soul is similar, we can classify the soul based on their current modifications or their current states. We see that the essential qualities that soul must achieve in order to progress on the moksha marg is right belief or samyak darshan, right knowledge or samyak gyan, and right conduct, which is samyak charitra. Depending on whether the soul has samyak darshan gyan charitra or not, the souls can be classified in 3 basic forms. These 3 forms are deluded souls or Bahiratma. Or in other words, these are souls that does not know what is the difference between the true soul and the other worldly beings. So they make a mistake or they confuse between the two and become a deluded soul. The second one is enlightened souls or Antaratma. These are souls who are, while they are still in the worldly universe, but they have identified themselves as the true souls and they have started their journey on the moksha marg. Finally, the supreme souls or Paramatma. These are souls who have achieved liberation. They are the souls who have become God, or they are the souls who have completely separated soul from the rest of the universe and they are called Paramatma. Let's understand the key attributes of these souls and also the reason why we should know them. Let's start with the deluded souls or Bahiratma. Deluded souls or Bahiratma, as the name suggests, Bahir plus Atma. Bahir means external substances and Atma means soul. The type of soul that cannot distinguish between the external substances and the self and believes that the body and the soul are same, believes that the real happiness lies in gathering the external substances like home, like car, like money, as you can see in the picture here. These are the souls that you and I have seen around us who are constantly seeking worldly materialistic pleasures, but not realizing that the true happiness does not come from these materials. The true happiness lies within the soul. This basic mistake, the soul which makes this basic mistake, they are called Bahiratma. And it results into a deluded belief. And this deluded belief leads to an eternal entrapment in these four gati or the sansar. So why do we need to know them? We need to know the Bahiratma very clearly because we need to understand what not to do. We need to understand what kind of mistakes these Bahiratma or deluded souls are making in order for us to recognize these mistakes and then identify ourselves as the true soul and start our journey towards Antaratma. It is very important to understand what is Bahiratma. It is very important to understand what is the unhappiness in order to achieve the true happiness. So, in this path to the Paramatma or liberated souls, one needs to understand where does one start or where does one exist at the time of its deluded belief. Let's go in the second type of soul, which is enlightened souls or Antaratma. You can see with this very beautiful graphic that there is a slight separation which we see in the picture, which indicates that the soul and the body have somewhat, they are segregated. Soul has identified itself as a separate entity from the body. Let's jump into the definition. The term Antaratma can be broken into Antar, which means within, and Atma, which means soul. The soul that identifies oneself as the one entity which is within, that is an enlightened soul, which is called Antaratma. These enlightened souls have, with the discriminative wisdom, they have segregated the soul from the worldly materialistic body, mind, language, other substances. So this soul has attained right belief or samyak darshan by means of self-realization. This self-realization or atmanubhuti is the first step for the true dharma to begin. It is the beginning of identifying oneself as the true soul, and slowly, the soul will keep getting engrossed within by and elevate itself through the moksha marg, eventually reaching to the Paramatma stage. These enlightened souls are of three types. Again, see, enlightened souls are the ones who have begun their journey on the moksha marg. Now, depending on where they are on the moksha marg, there are three different types of enlightened souls. One is a superior enlightened soul or Uttam Antaratma. These souls are very close to achieving the Paramatma stage. Then there are intermediate enlightened souls. These souls are halfway or in the middle of their moksha marg, and they are called Madhyam Antaratma. And they are lowest enlightened souls. These slow souls have just identified themselves and have just begun their journey of moksha marg. They are called Jaganya Antaratma. Let's take one at a time and try to understand them. As we look at the superior enlightened souls or Uttam Antaratma, these are souls who are the true ascetics or true munis, and they are either in their 12th stage of spiritual development or 12th gunasthan. And within next Antarmurat, they will achieve Keval Gnan and become the supreme soul. These enlightened souls are profoundly engrossed within themselves. They are in their superior meditative stage and they have achieved complete vitragata. In next Antarmurat, they will also achieve Keval Gnan, and with becoming omniscient, they become supreme souls. So, superior enlightened souls are just one step from reaching the supreme soul. In terms of Gunasthan or in terms of the progression of their spiritual development, you can see that the spiritual development stages are classified in different forms indicated by these white vertical lines. The stages below sixth Gunasthan, they are in Ashuddhopyog, which means they are not engrossed in their Atma. The spiritual levels above 7 and higher, these gunasthans are completely engrossed within soul. So they are called Shuddhopyogi. Now, these superior enlightened souls are the souls which are in the 12th uh, stage of their spiritual development. And they are just one below the supreme souls or Paramatma. So they are just one stage away from becoming supreme soul. All right. This is one type of description in the literature. There is another type of description in the literature from another perspective. All the souls which are in Shuddhopyog, which means from 7th stage to the 12th stage, all of them are called superior enlightened souls because they are all in Shuddhopyog and they are just one step away from getting to the supreme soul. So there are two different descriptions in our literature. One says only the 12th stage or 12th gunasthan is superior enlightened soul or Uttama Antaratma. And the second description says from 7th to 12th, all the Muniraj or all the ascetics are superior enlightened soul or Uttama Antaratma. Let's go to the Madhyam Antaratma or intermediate enlightened souls. These intermediate enlightened souls, they have progressed from the beginning of their journey in Moksha. However, they have not reached the ultimate stage yet. So they are somewhere in between. They are somewhere partially eliminated their Kashai and they have reached the intermediate stage. So if you measure these in the quadruplets of passions or the type of kashais, there are four type of kashais: Anantanubandhi kashai, Apratyakhyanavaran kashai, Pratyakhyanavaran kashai, and Sanjulan kashai. These superior enlightened souls that we just saw earlier, they have gotten rid of three quadruplets and only Sanjulan kashai is left. For intermediate enlightened souls, they have gotten rid of two or three quadruplets. So either Pratyakhyanavarana and Sanjulan Kashais are left, or only Sanjulan Kashais are left. If only Sanjulan Kashais are left, these are called Sakalvrati Muniraj or ascetics, but who are not engrossed in the soul. So those ascetics who are outside in their Shubhopyog. And if we consider two quadruplets, Pratyakhanavaran and Sanjulan, which are left, then these are called Deshavrati Shravak. These are householders who are observing partial vows. So these are householders, they are also taking partial vows and are part of intermediate enlightened souls. we look in form of the spiritual development stages, as we said earlier, there are two different definitions. If we look at the first definition, where only the 12th stage was called superior enlightened soul, then according to this definition, from 5th stage, 11th stage, all the Shravak as well as Muniraj or householder as well as the ascetics will all be called intermediate enlightened souls, because these all have not achieved complete Vitakta yet. So they are all intermediate stages. However, if we look at the second definition, in second definition, all the Shuddhopiyogi Muniraj or all those ascetics who were engrossed in their soul were called superior enlightened souls. That is from 7th to 12th, they were called superior enlightened souls. Then as per this definition, the uh, the householders in 5th stage as well as the ascetics in 6th stage, both of whom are in Shubh Upyog. They are not engrossed in the soul, but they are outwardly engrossed in Shubh Upyog. They are called intermediate enlightened souls. So again, there are two definitions. As per first definition, 5th to 11th, all are called intermediate enlightened soul. As per second definition, only 5th and 6th are called intermediate enlightened soul or Madhyam Antaratma. Now let's go to the lowest enlightened soul or Jaganya Antaratma. As the name suggests, these are enlightened souls. So they have identified soul as a separate entity from the worldly substances, including body, mind, our speech, etc. However, they are in the lowest development stage in terms of their moksha marg. So while they have overcome their delusion, but they have not been able to get rid of any of their uh, quadruplets of passions or any of their kashais. So out of the four, only Anantanubandhi Kashai is eliminated. The remaining three, Pratyakhyana Kashai, Pratyakhyana Kashai, and Sanjulan Kashai are still there. And that's why they are called Avirat Samyak Drishti, which means they have not even taken partial vows. In fact, they have not taken any vows. That's why they are called lowest enlightened souls, or they are called Avirat Samyak Drishti. However, even though they are the lowest enlightened souls, they have realized themselves. They have experienced the soul. With the experience of soul and with elimination of Anantanubandhi Kashai, the most important part, which is the delusion or which is the wrong belief, is now eliminated. That's why they have started their journey on the moksha marg. And that's why they are called Antaratma or they are called enlightened souls. Even though they are on the lowest stage, but the progression will be now fast. And that's why they are called enlightened souls. In terms of the spiritual stages of development, these lowest enlightened soul or Jaganya Antaratma belongs to the fourth stage of Gunasthan or fourth stage of spiritual development. So the soul that does not understand the difference between soul and the body or Bahiratma, when they achieve Samyak Darshan or when they start their journey of Moksha Marg, they get onto the fourth stage of spiritual development and they are called Jaganya Antaratma. Okay? So again, we saw three different types of enlightened souls. Lowest enlightened souls, who are the fourth stage of spiritual development or fourth Gunasthan. Intermediate enlightened souls, as per first definition, they are from 5th to 11th stage. As per second definition, they are 5th and 6th stage. And superior enlightened souls, as per first definition, they are 12th stage or 12th Gunasthan. And as per second definition, all 7th to 12th stages or all of these Gunasthan belong to superior enlightened souls. So here is just a summary. Uttam Antaratma, Madhyam Antaratma, and Jaganya Antaratma. They are all represented by individual roles. You can see in which spiritual stage or gunasthan they exist. And there are two definitions, as we are constantly saying. So 7th to 12th and 12th, 5th to 6th and 5th to 11th, and 4th. In terms of their passions, Uttam Antaratma have gotten rid of 3 quadruplets. Madhyam Antaratma, either 2 or 3. And Jaganya Antaratma have gotten rid of only 1 quadruplet, which is the Anantanubandhi Kashai. Uttam Antaratma are ascetics who are just one stage below achieving supreme soul, or they are just one stage below becoming Paramatma. Madhyam Antaratma, they are in the intermediary stage of their moksha marg. So they are either householders with partial vows or they are ascetics with complete vows. But those ascetics who are uh, complete vows, but they have not achieved the complete vitaragata. And then Jaganya Antaratma, these are only householders who have not taken any vows. So they are Avirat Samyak Drishti. The key difference is Jaganya Antaratma, they have experienced their soul, but they have very weak stability. So while they are enlightened, but they have just begun their journey. So they have only initial self experience. Madhyam Antaratma, they have progressed. They have very strong internal stability, but their passions are still there. So they are still in between in their journey. Whereas Uttam Antaratma, they are in complete Shuddhopyo. They are always engrossed in their soul. They have achieved complete Vitragata and in one definition. And now they are just one step below achieving omniscience. Within Antarmurat, if they are in 12th stage, within Antarmurat, they are going to achieve omniscience and become supreme soul. Let's summarize of the importance to understand Antaratma. As we want to start our journey of moksha marga, and as the soul wants to first understand itself, get rid of their delusion, and experience the soul or get Atmanubhuti, this begins the journey of moksha marga. And the soul starts with becoming an Antaratma. Once it achieves Antaratma stage, then it will be eventually reaching the supreme soul stage. That's why this intermediary step of Antaratma, it's very important to understand. Without understanding the stage of Antaratma, one will not able to understand the soul, and one will not be able to experience its eternal bliss, and one will not progress to become Paramatma. So, with help of understanding Antaratma stage, it clarifies why deep self-reflection and introspection is important. It also uh, helps us understand why right belief or the science of discrimination is very important. It can be achieved through the understanding of right Jain principles and through the guidance of God, scriptures, and ascetics. As you can see, the in the picture, the Antaratma or enlightened soul now understands that one is not in house or in car or in family or in other worldly things. The actual nature of oneself is the soul. And identifying that soul is the first step by Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra that helps us become Antaratma. So this marks the genuine beginning of inner exploration. Once Antaratma stage is reached, it is still intermediary step. It is not complete purity, but it is on the path to reaching complete purity. Now let's dive into who are the supreme souls. As we started the discussion in this class, all of us are soul, but while the nature of substance is the same, our states are different. And the classification is based on in which state each soul lies. So the obvious question is, well, which state the soul should be in ideal form, right? In ideal form, the soul should always be in the supreme soul stage or in the Paramatma stage. What is a supreme soul or what is a Paramatma? Paramatma, as the word says, it is derived from Param plus Atma or supreme soul. The soul which has achieved its supremacy, the soul which has achieved its complete stage, the soul which has achieved its complete purity, that is called supreme soul or that is called Paramatma. So the soul which has eliminated all of its attachments and passions, it remains fully absorbed in itself, in eternal consciousness and eternal bliss with a complete purity. That is the true nature of soul. And the souls which exist in this true nature, they are called supreme soul or Paramatma. These souls have essentially achieved four infinite properties: Anand Gnan or infinite knowledge, Anand Darshan, infinite perception, Anant Sukh, infinite bliss, Anant Virya, infinite energy. These infinite these infinites actually define the ultimate stage in which the soul should exist. And every soul in this world should strive to achieve this particular state. That's why Paramatma is the ultimate goal for every soul in this universe. There are two types of Paramatma, as we saw even in the picture, in the previous diagram here: Arihant Bhagwan and Siddh Bhagwan. The soul which is in its bodily form, or the soul which is now completely free of all the material substances. So they are also called as Sakal Paramatma or embodied supreme souls, or Nikal Paramatma, disembodied supreme souls. So the Nikal Paramatma, they are also called as Siddh Bhagwan, and Sakal Paramatma, also called as Aryan Bhagwan. As the name suggests, Sakal means Sa plus Kal, with body. Nikal means Ni plus Kal. Kal means body, Ni means without. The souls which are with body, they are Aryan Bhagwan. Souls without body, they are Siddh Bhagwan. Aryan Bhagwan, they have destroyed four Ghati karmas, but they are yet to destroy the other four Aghati karma. So, the one who have destroyed four Ghati karma and achieved four eternals, four infinites, as we saw in the previous slide, they are called Arihant Paramatma or Sakal Paramatma. The soul, which is now completely passionless and omniscient and have gotten rid of all eight karmas, even the four aghati karmas they have gotten rid of, they are called Nikal Paramatma or disembodied souls. These Sakal Paramatma, because they still have aghati karma, they still have body, they still have other physical entities around him, they still exist in the Madhya Lok. Because while they are in the supreme soul stage, but they still exist in the Madhya Lok. However, Nikal Paramatma, they have no body and they have no possessions. They have no material things with the soul. And because of the Urdhva nature of the soul, the true nature of the soul is to rise upwards. So with the Urdhva Swabhav, this soul now lies in the Siddha Shila and it manifests in its complete purity in its own self. Sakal Paramatma, they are in 13th and 14th stages of spiritual development. And while they experience infinite bliss, they are still in the worldly form. However, the Nikal Paramatma, they are beyond spiritual development. Now they have achieved completeness. So there is no, they're beyond spiritual development, they're beyond Gunasthan. And now they experience uninterrupted or Avyabad Sukh. So this is Anant Sukh, this is Avyabad Sukh. These are two basic types of supreme souls or Paramatma. And by knowing the importance of Paramatma, or by knowing the nature of supreme soul, one can set the target, or one can understand what is the eventual objective uh, of every soul. So by knowing Paramatma, every soul gets motivated to embark on this journey of moksha marg and achieve the supremacy. By knowing the nature of Paramatma, one can also know that the true happiness lies within the soul itself. And this is infinite happiness. So the real happiness is not in worldly things, as you can see in the picture here. The real happiness lies within. There is a very good example that comes in our Shastra, where a deer who has the true fragrance in his own body is trying to search this fragrance throughout the forest. But he doesn't know that the fragrance actually lies in his own body. Similarly, each soul has the true happiness lying within the soul itself. But without knowing this actual secret, every soul is trying to find happiness in the material things, and that leads him to delusion. Knowing the Paramatma, knowing the Supreme Soul, every soul can now understand that the true happiness is within. So the journey of achieving the happiness now becomes quite evident. Okay, so let's go to our last topic. Which of these are hey, which is worth renouncing? Which of these are gnay, or worth knowing? And which of these are upade, or worth taking refuge into for manifesting? Out of Bahiratma, Antaratma, and Parmatma, or deluded soul, enlightened soul, and supreme soul, we definitely don't want to be the deluded soul, right? So the Bahiratma is hey, it is worth renouncing. All those souls in the universe who are in delusion are constantly experiencing unhappiness. So it is a state that is miserable, and we should renounce it immediately. We want to achieve the ultimate stage. So Paramatma is the eventual upadhi. And with the ultimate supremacy, it is a completely blissful state, which is what one wants to adopt. However, journey from Bahiratma to Antaratma doesn't happen in a blip. There is a path that one must follow, and that path is Antaratma, or enlightened souls. So, in the enlightened soul, they are partially blissful stages. We saw three different stages: Jaganya Antaratma, Madhyam Antaratma, and Uttam Antaratma. Each of these are Kathan when one is in a lower stage. The stage higher is worth achieving. However, once you reach that stage, it is worth renouncing to reach even a further stage. So, because these are partial happinesses and our goal is complete happiness, one has to achieve partial happiness once, but eventually it is worth renouncing to achieve the complete happiness. Right? So it is not ultimate goal, but it is Kathanchit and Kathanchit Upadeya. All right. So with that said, let me quickly summarize what we have discussed today. All the souls are inherently alike. All the souls like us, we all have consciousness. And by nature of the substance, all of us are exactly identical. With that said, each of us are still seen in different life forms. Some of us are seen in the form of animals. Some of us are seen in the form of humans. And we also know that there are heavenly and hellish beings out there. However, based on three primary attributes of their knowledge, their belief, knowledge, and conduct, based on these state of modifications, the souls are classified in three main forms: deluded souls, or Bahiratma; enlightened souls, or Antaratma; and supreme souls or Paramatma. Deluded souls or Bahiratma, these type of souls, they identify Atma or soul and the body as one thing. They are not able to distinguish between the two, and that's why they are not able to understand the true happiness in the soul. They are always focused on external material things, and because of this constant delusion, they are always in unhappy state. The enlightened souls or Antaratma have realized that the true happiness is within. They have experienced this true happiness by means of self experience or Samyak Darshan, along with Samyak Gyan and Samyak Charitra. However, there are different stages of this spiritual development. The lowest enlightened soul, they have experienced the soul, but they have not been able to get rid of uh, more than one quadruplet of Kashai, so they have not been able to take any vows. They are called lower enlightened soul or Jaganya Antaratma. The intermediate enlightened souls, they have gotten rid of two or three quadruplets of Kashai, and they have progressed in their journey of self experience. They are called Madhyam Antaratma. And lastly, the superior Antaratma. These are the souls who have progressed the most. They are just one step below achieving supreme soul nature. They are either uh, they are either they are completely renounced ascetics who are fully absorbed within, and by virtue of their asceticism, they've gotten rid of three quadrupeds of Kashai. So they are just left with one Sanjval and Kashai, which they can get rid of in a Antarmurat and achieve the supreme soul state. Finally, the supreme soul, these are Paramatma. They are the enlightened, completely enlightened souls. They have achieved omniscience and complete passionlessness. They have four infinite properties: Anant Gnan, Anant Darshan, Anant Sukh, and Anant Virya. They have achieved complete purity, and they are devoid of all the worldly attachments and are fully engrossed in eternal bliss. There are two types of supreme souls. The one with embodied supreme souls, they have the body, they are called Sakal Paramatma. They exist in the Madhyalok, or they are also called as Arihant Paramatma. And disembodied supreme souls or Nikal Paramatma, they have gotten rid of the body now. It's a purest form of the soul, and they are also called as Siddha Paramatma. Arihant Paramatma have gotten rid of four Ghati karma, but the four Aghati karma still remains. So they are still in the worldly form. They are supreme soul, but in the worldly form. However, the disembodied supreme souls or Nikal Paramatma, they are the ultimate purest soul who lies in the Siddhashila in the purest form of the soul. This is the ultimate goal for every soul in this universe. By knowing these three stages of development, we realize that Bahiratma is a stage which is worth renouncing to get rid of the eternal misery. Antaratma stage is a partial blissful stage, and while it is partially worth achieving, but we have to renounce it to eventually achieve the Paramatma stage. And Paramatma, this is the eternal blissful stage, and it's totally worth of the manifestation. By recognizing these three different stages, one realizes that self experience is the beginning of the journey, self experience is the progress of the journey, and self experience is the way of achieving the ultimatum. So eventually, souls achieve Samyak Darshan, Gyan, and Charitra. This is the only way to begin the Moksha Marg and complete the journey to achieve the eternal blissful stage called Paramatma. With that, we finish the class today. Uh, uh, Jai Jinendra. Parinati ji, over
Yeah.
to you.
Thank you, Bhaiya, for this beautiful classification of soul. In a way, you taught us that how our soul is classified depending upon their stages, which is Bahiratma, Antaratma, and Parmatma. Bahiratma is the stage, the delusion, the deluded souls just just engrabbed in charms of materialistic things, in bodily things. In this way, it is always fascinated with outer world. And when the Bahiratma realizes that where the self progress journey begins, it realizes that what is self, what is what is non-self. In such way, then the Antaratma journey begins. And that Antaratma journey is also classified in three stages, which is lowest enlightened soul, then intermediate enlightened soul, and then superior enlightened soul. That is Jaganya, Madhyam, and Uttar Antaratma. In this way, the stage of Antaratma is divided in three parts. And then, when a soul uh, clears the stage, then it goes to the Paramatma, the supreme happily or supreme soul, the supreme way, purest way of soul. In this way, the whole journey of soul is classified. And you rightly said that okay, the Bahiratma, the phase, the delusion phase must end. So this is a complete hey thing that we cannot admire at all. Then we'll go to Antaratma, which is partially hay, because this is the journey where Jeev realizes that they have to reach to the ultimate goal. So we can't say this completely Upade, but this is Kathanchit hay, because our ultimate goal is to be the purest self, to be the Paramatma. So which is completely Upade. In this way, we have beautifully learned that how the cycle works and how the classification is. Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for making us this understand in simple terms. Now, I would like to ask if anyone is having query regarding this topic. Okay, Bhaiya, I have a question that if uh, if I decided today that I want to become a Paramatma, then what is the time frame or lowest possible time that I can attain that stage?
Uh, it's a very good question. I think, see, our journey begins by achieving Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. And that beginning we can achieve within next Antarmurat. One starts experiencing our soul, and that is the beginning of Samyak Darshan. So that is our beginning of the journey. In this bhav, we can take the ascetic form, so we can reach to sixth and seventh stage of spiritual development. So we can reach Madhyam Antaratma, and we can also reach Uttam Antaratma by the definition of inner engrossment. If we are able to achieve that within a few bhav, maybe next bhav or maybe the bhav after that, we can will take birth in another human form, where we will take another ascetic form and we can achieve Paramatma. So it will not take too much time. I think as long as we begin our journey with Samyak Darshan Gyan Charitra, within a very few bhav, we can achieve Paramatma.
Okay. So the maximum in this bhav we can attain Antaratma.
That's correct. Maximum in this bhav, we can achieve ascetic form, which is sixth or seventh stage of spiritual development, which is Antaratma. Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you for your
Very
time.
nicely summarized, Parinati ji, with this session. And thank you everyone for joining. We will finish with a small Jinwani Stuti and
Bhaiya,
Jai.
before Jinwani Stuti, let me just introduce them to a JEEV portal, how it
Okay.
works.
Yes, please.
Bhaiya, can you enable screen sharing for participants?
Oh, yes. Okay, I think you should be able to do it.
Hmm. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible. We see your Gmail.
Uh, it is visible now.
Yes, it is visible. We see your Gmail account.
But I have shared. I'm sharing PPT. Is it visible?
No, that's not visible.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, it just came up.
Yeah. Sorry for the glitch. This is the brief introduction about JEEV portal, which I said earlier. In it is a very beautiful platform to learn about Jainism. If you are really curious to know different topics, you can just click on topics like five sins, four states, six essentials, and deep dive into it. It is just like a course in Coursera or LinkedIn, where you learn the courses, you track your completion, that how much is left and in what time we should allot to learn the more concepts about Jainism. In this way, you can understand JEEV portal and get access of our courses. And for any of the doubts or queries regarding this, you can contact us in following addresses. We'll happy to help you. Thank you. Over to you, Bhaiya.
Thank you very much. Let's fold our hands. We will do a small Jinwani Stuti and we will complete the class. निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है बोलो जिनवाणी मात की जय हो जय जिनेन्द्र एवरीवन
Thank you, Bhaiya.
थैंक यू